Hey, what's good? My name is Nekables, and for a while, I've just been uploading short, funny plays, but I decided that I would upload a more informative video, so I thought I would talk about the boxer mentality. But before I start, bear in mind, this will be more toward lower ELO players, so if you're higher ELO, you might know most of this stuff already. Recently, I've been off of school mainly due to being sick, but other than that, I was trying to play League. But it's kinda hard to play when you're sneezing 24/7, so I decided a better idea would be to do something less intense. However, I came across this interesting article that talked about magic and the boxer mentality, which you can read yourself. I'll link it in the description below. And after reading it, I realized how it can directly relate to your average League of Legends player. So picture this, when you step into a game of League, even before that, when you press the play button on the top of your screen, the first thing that comes into your mind is that victory after about 30 to 40 minutes of carrying the scrubs on your team. And your general mindset is more geared toward how you're going to counterpick Nasus with Teemo, or Mundo with Vayne, how you're going to outplay Karthus' ult by pressing Q with Master Yi, and you're feeling confident that you can't lose. You've already banned Warwick, and your whole strategy is laid out, and you can't wait to wreck and just go ham. Well, if that sounds at all familiar, that's the boxer mentality. When a boxer steps into a ring, the first thing on his mind is he cannot lose no matter what. He's been training hard, eating good, and resting well. He's prepped up for the fight, and his coach is telling him that he can't lose. His friends are saying that he can't lose, and he himself confidently believes that he can't lose. There's just nothing that can stop him, and it's true. Only if he can properly execute his strategy, only if he can utilize his opponent's weaknesses, and only if he can keep his head up no matter what blows are given to him. However, no matter how many punches he bobs and weaves, if he doesn't block that overhand left that's coming at him at 110% power, he's gonna go down. So what this means is that you can prepare as much as you want, and you can believe that you can win, but you've gotta accept that you can lose, and anything can happen. So how does this relate to League? There are times where you'll strongly feel that you won early, maybe at Champ Select because you have a Fizz and maybe a Lucian Thresh bot, or when you get a first blood in lane and you feel the rest of the game is just a snowball. So you tell Sejuani to come up top lane and secure a kill on Irelia, who's overextending, when all of a sudden Lee Sin comes out of the brush giving Irelia a double kill. So now you're kinda mad because Sejuani missed her Q and you start tilting. But you're taking no blames in your mistakes because so what if you accidentally rune prison the minion? You should be able to rely on Sejuani to CC her, right? Well, that's where most players fall short. They aren't able to recognize that even the slightest mistake, such as Ryze rune prisoning a minion, or Kayle ulting the full health volley instead of the Fizz who's in the middle of the enemy team, can cost you a lot, and in some cases, the whole game. If the enemy team can properly utilize your mistakes to their advantage, sometimes that mistake may result in them winning that game-deciding team fight. And if you don't recognize where you messed up, then you're gonna end up in the cycle of maybe if Champion X had did spell Y, then we would have won. And that's a big problem in solo queue. Everybody believes that they're the best and that they're gonna win. And I mean, what other mindset would you want? League is probably the most competitive game and no one wants to see that defeat screen. You're not gonna enter Champion Select like, hey guys, I'm not confident in myself, we might lose. You're gonna want to enter Champion Select like a fucking badass and just tell your team to just go ham. So you don't necessarily want to have a boxer mentality, you want to be able to create the facade that you do. Sort of similar to how you might play more aggressively towards someone a few ranks lower than you, but when playing against someone who can display their boxer mentality, aka somebody who might be a few ranks higher than you might play a bit more passive. And it doesn't matter how much you prep, how many streams you watch, or how much time you put into the game. No matter how much you believe that you can win, you're going to lose at one point or another, whether it's your fault or not. And I can assure you that Bjergsen, Faker, and Hai have some losses on the record, so you're not alone. What's important is how you take your losses. Unlike a boxer who can possibly go undefeated, in League you are much more prone to losing, and sometimes you can feel the tilt build up after losing horribly. If I were to lose to a challenger Twisted Fate, I wouldn't take the loss as hard, and better yet, I doubt I'd go on tilt. I'd accept the fact that he probably outplayed me and is basically just a better player. I'd move on with my life and enter the next queue. But if I were to lose lane to a bronze 5 Urgot mid, I'd probably rethink my life decisions, uninstall League, and play Club Penguin for the rest of my life. Obviously I'm kidding, but there are some players out there that let their emotions take over on how they play. Some random guy can spam AP Urgot 1000 times and they might lose a lot, but luck will come into play eventually, granting them a win or two. And in some cases, it might be against you. And if you let that one fluke affect your play over the next 10 games, making you rage faster, blame your teammates more often, and tilt harder, then you're gonna need to work on how you take your losses, or else you'll find no reason to play League other than to make yourself miserable. Lots of people find different ways to cope with their losses, whether they take it as a lesson to learn from or a way to figure out what their mistakes were. Either way, it boils down to one main point, and that is that anybody can lose and no one is undefeatable. Learn from your losses and accept responsibility for your mistakes. The only way to improve is to try and improve yourself. So don't worry about the LeBlanc that just built a Doran's Blade, just worry about yourself, and after doing this enough times, you will see improvement and you will become a better player. And remember, don't give up because no matter how hard your team feeds in the beginning, anything can happen. Thanks for watching and say what's up if you see me on the Rift.